So I would like to talk a little bit about the Visual Studio Code. I know that probably the question, why another editor? Yeah, why? There is an Atom already, so who would need the Visual Studio Code? But there are a few interesting cases why it is worth to take into account. This one it's a pretty decent, I would say, editor with good set of plugins. And also was interesting that Code Analytics was part of the project from very beginning, the integration of the Code Analytics. Pretty nice are the task runners that are part of it. And also workspace specific config, which also make it, let's say, share the config within one single project, which sometimes might be good. And also Microsoft, yeah, some people say, whoa, Microsoft, yeah, but it's like Microsoft put a lot of effort with investing with Ember. Probably, I don't know if there is any other editor that have a support for Ember language server for this day. So Visual Studio is probably the one. And the second thing is about TypeScript, yeah. Microsoft, probably the Visual Studio Code is one of the best supported for TypeScript. I know that with Atom, they make some collaboration with the Facebook now. And they also want to make a better IDE feeling with the editor, and also make some of the changes. I will go briefly through all the things that I see are valuable within working on Ember.js. So, yeah, navigation is nothing fancy. You have two shortcuts, both for command line and both for file searching. There's also great plugin for Ember related files, which is worth to install, and is like there is also command line that you can install all of the plugins, which makes it much easier to share, for example, what plugins people use, because sometimes looking for by the name is not the case. And there is also a few things that's worth to set up. One thing is to properly exclude folders that you don't want to search. Because otherwise, when you will be searching files, you will be go from, for example, for TMP files, which is not the best thing. There's also pretty good, probably supported by the Visual Studio Code team, a plugin for Vim language. And Vim language is something very great to navigate through the file, and using the other features of the IDE to navigate through the files. Yeah, within the file, Vim language is superior. Much better. I would say much better. Yeah. Not everybody agree. But yeah. Okay, so next thing is about static analytics and syntax. I found this for plugins pretty interesting. It's like for the SAS, for Ember syntax. Ember syntax is helping whenever you have any embedded HTML bars. For example, in test suites, when you render component, part of component, and within JS file you have handlebars, this is something that helps a lot. And also, I found pretty nice integration with the Prettier. Prettier is probably more known in the React world, but it's like a great auto formatting tool. Yeah, it's like it tries to understand your JavaScript and rewrite it once again. So it's if you will go with this configuration that I have, for example, here. So it's like you will set that autosave or window change is true. It means that, and you share your configuration for Prettier and for Visual Studio Code with all the people within that working on the project. Then every time that somebody hit the save, code will be formatted in the same way, which is pretty awesome for any kind working with the let's say pull request and comparing the code, yeah, and also that you just keep the standard, yeah, within a project. One thing about the Prettier that is sometimes a little annoying is that it doesn't have so much good support for HTML bars, for HTML in general, to reformat it. So it sometimes messes things with the handlebars, and it's like if you have more than one handlebars each after, it will inline them all. Yeah, so sometimes this is the one problem, but I know there's issue open for that, and after they will add the support for working also with HTML and handlebars, that will probably would be the way to go with it. It's like you don't think about styling, about formatting the files. The editor should think about it, yeah. And also ESLint, yeah, because not everything can be implied from Prettier, and there is possibility to make Prettier and ESLint work together. Work with there are few rules that you might need to tweak, but still it's like, yeah, it's you got feedback from ESLint about how you Ember project, if you put everything in the right order or if you forget about anything, and all the stuff around the indentation, spaces, brackets and stuff like this is taken by the editor. You don't think about it, which is great, and you can share it through all the people within a team. Next thing is look and feel. This is the config that I find that is pretty useful for me. The thing at the bottom of the config is more or less about the emmet. It's, if I remember correctly, from the recent minor release of Visual Studio Code, emmet is part of the Visual Studio Code. You don't have to install it as an additional plugin. And if you want to have it working within the handlebars, you need this part of config that I showed just before to map it. And what is also pretty interesting is this part about this team, Ember Frost. This is probably the only team that I found that make syntax highlighting for handlebars done well. Yeah, this template looks really good with this template. And maybe the also thing that sometimes you can forget is like, because Visual Studio Code have also the integrated terminal, you also can set the font for this terminal. And if you use some themes from ZSH, you need to define it, yeah? Otherwise you would have some weird characters. And plugins that you need to install is only this this file icons, Ember Frost, and it really works for me well. Terminal. For a long time I was always using the external terminal. It's like I have my IDE, RubyMine, also when working with Ruby, or even when working in JavaScript, and terminal have a separate window. But within two things with Visual Studio Code, like this terminal is really works good. The only problem on Windows is working a little bit slower, but from some people that notice. But on the Mac it works pretty awesome. And yeah, setting this proper font, and it's worked very good. And there is one shortcut that you need to just toggle the access to it. And with this second feature, it was like because Visual Studio Code have also launchers and tasks, it's possible to run the server and manage the server using Visual Studio Code. And I found that the restarting is much easier with this one. It's much faster to restart the server than if I will go to console, find the right console, and then stop the server and then restart it. Yeah, you just restart and take care about it. And this workflow works for me pretty well, and I see myself more productive than using the second terminal. Yeah, because I have here's the server, here server is separate, terminal is terminal. I use it for different case, for generator and stuff like this. There are much more things how you can customize your Visual Studio Code by tasks, as launchers, and there's also built-in debugger. But this is something that I would like to cover maybe in the next time. And it really is pretty nice, this built-in debugger. Okay, that's all. Any question?
Yeah, everyone.
Yes.
In which field is better than from?
It's probably for the long time it was have better support for Ember than Atom have. Yeah, this language server that have been, and also TypeScript. From what I know now, is like that Facebook is working on this Atom IDE together with the GitHub team, and they will also bring a lot of stuff for this. But their main focus is React. Yeah. What they do, yeah.
But this is related with the languages, but what about the functions?
Probably the functions are very similar, like modern editors are pretty similar. I found it more suited for Ember, just.
I have one more question. You mentioned the ability to restart the Ember server.
Yeah.
There is some console log with the current instance of Ember server that when you can see the logs of it.
Yeah. Whenever let's go back. Whenever you will go, for example, for Ember serve, you have also option to go to output. Okay. But this is like one of the tasks. You can find it manually as one of the tasks, but also like whenever you will find Ember serve, for example, output you will search for, you will get to the output of it. But since 2.14 and 2.15, the errors messages from Ember about the errors of compilation are much better within a window. So I found that it's not as needed to look to console as it was in the past. Yeah, 2.14 and 2.15 even improved it. Yeah, the compilation error and notice from it, the error message screen. Okay, thank you.